How to support the exerting user, we observe two large groups. The first group we call cognitive support. And in this group, the user can receive information during the experience to make an informed decision. You can see that in the first picture. The second picture represents how users can also engage with exertion data before and after the experience. The other group contrasting we call bodily support. And in this group, what's different is that the user can receive support directly onto their body. For example, the first picture shows two guys that are wearing GPS behind their ear, and this delivers a small electrical charge that changes and affects their balance. So they are feeling this as they are actually in the experience. The e-bike picture here is an e-bike that changes the assistance of the engine according to pollution levels ahead of the road. So what they try to do here is to regulate the breathing of the rider during the experience. And this area of bodily support is an emerging area in HCI. But we can actually draw from exertion theory and human-computer integration theory to define what we call integrated exertion. So let's define first the first part of exertion. By integrated exertion, we refer to systems where the user is investing physical effort as part of the experience, and now the integration part. And the system can act on and react to the user's actions and the environment to support the exertion experience. To study integrated exertion, we chose to use e-bikes. And the reason for that is that during the experience, the user is investing physical effort. And if we modify the engine, we might be able to get it to act on and react to the user's actions. So with that, we study the experience of e-bike riding, and we derive 3 insights that we then, through iteration, turn into features. The first insight refers to how users during cycle lean forward to embrace speed, and this is also recurrent in other sports. So what we've done here is we have a mobile phone that the rider wears on their chest. The mobile phone has a gyroscope, so when the rider leans forward, the gyroscope information is sent via Bluetooth to a Raspberry Pi, and the Raspberry Pi sends that to the engine. So you can see that now. The second insight refers to the body of the bike. The e-bike is slightly heavier than normal bikes, and because of this, when the users resume riding, they can become slightly wobbly. So this led us to think, how can we get the e-bike to act on and react to this wobbliness? What we have here is 2 Hall effect sensors placed on the bike which detect movement. So when users resume riding, these LEDs placed on the side of the bike turn on to help with safety. The last one refers to the use of sound. We noticed with many of the e-bike riders we interviewed that they use custom sounds, and this led us to think, how can we use the sound? So when the user leans in our prototype, sound also plays, and we have 4 different sounds. One of them is silent. What you're going to see here is how the rider can change the sound from the handlebar, but no sound will actually play. And now I'm going to play the 3 sounds that we use. So I hope my sound is working, otherwise we have to test it. So the first sound that we use is dreamy. The next sound is futuristic. And the last sound is turbo. And with this we built 2 e-bikes. We call them Ava the e-bike. They have the exact same functionality and power. The only thing that's different is the form factor, obviously, and we chose different form factor because we wanted to give e-bike riders an e-bike they were familiar and comfortable with riding, so they could focus on our prototype. So the way we study Ava, we did this with 22 e-bike riders that each hosted Ava for 2 weeks. And after collecting and analyzing all the data, we derived 7 design tactics. Today I'm presenting 3. The first one Designed for zero body disparity to facilitate the rider to be one with the system. And what we mean by this is that when users interact with the system, mostly using buttons or gesture, think that that's your input, and more often you see the output on a screen. So that distance from your body is what we refer to body disparity. What happens with Ava is that as the user leans, they are also sensing that increased acceleration. So there is no distance away from your body. And what this appears to give to riders, according to the many counts, is the experience of accessing an extra power from within as if it was a superpower. Next, consider amplifying any sensation by engaging other senses to facilitate make-believe. Here we are specifically talking about sound and more precisely turbo. So what we notice here is that when the user leans, as I mentioned before, sound also plays, and the turbo sound appears to elevate how fast the rider is actually going. This increased sensation allows the rider to create make-believe moments, such as the one of having a superpower. The last tactic for today is offer momentarily reduced body control with the user's goals in mind, a sense of working together. And with Ava, the user is in control of the acceleration at all times. This led us to think, what if the e-bike could actually have a more participative role in the experience? And with this, to give you an example, what if the e-bike could accelerate the engine so gently to help you get to a green light? If we want this partnership between the user and the system, there needs to be a fundamental level of trust. And we believe that for this to happen, the user should know how the e-bike will participate, because this will allow them momentarily to let go of control. These are the 7 tactics to design superpower-like experiences with integrated exertion. And these are not only applicable to e-bikes, but also to other systems and areas. For example, in the first row, what would it mean to design an e-wheelchair with the first tactic, which is the zero body disparity? Or if we look at playing a superhuman sport where technology takes the lead from you momentarily. So what does it mean to surrender some of that control during the game experience? Now, I have presented Ava the e-bike. In terms of future work, I would like you to meet Ari. By the way, Ari is the bike, okay? Ari is an e-bike that helps riders get green lights, because Ari is connected to traffic light data and can increase the engine according to your speed and distance and the cycle from the traffic light. Ari can also communicate with you if you are going too fast and you are going to miss the traffic light. We are experimenting about how Ari can communicate directly onto your body or by whispering using cheekbone headphones so your ears are uncovered during cycling. I would like to leave you, I would like to go back to the definition of integrated exertion, and this is where we are really focused on at the moment, being aware of the environment to support the exertion experience, plus using one of the tactics that we presented, which is momentarily reduce body control with the user's goals in mind. Now, I would like to leave you with this message. Integrated exertion allows designers to design systems that not only support players cognitively, but also by bodily means during the experience. This offers opportunities to reconsider how interactive systems communicate and participate during the experience. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.